There's a real energy to the Knicks, but it's interesting. So they've got two things here that are going to surface. So when you haven't been good for a while and you do have a history and then you get good, you tend to overreact. They could overspend on Julius Randle. That's a danger.
That's a mistake. That's right. Not a danger.
No question. Okay. Second thing, though, is when you look at Tibbs' history and your thoughts on this, he grinds the shit out of his players. They play hard in the regular season and players buy in.
Yep.
But I have watched so many. I know what he is in the postseason. Teams get tired. Teams wear out. And there's this joyfulness with Knicks fans. Like, we're back. We're here. And I feel like, no. You are here. There's going to be so much pain over the next 2 to 3 years on the Randle contract and the Tibbs ceiling. Is Tibbs the classic Kirk Cousins? Can win you a division, and that's it.
Yeah, he's a culture changer. They needed to change their culture. They needed to get back to attention to detail and being tough. And honestly, Scott Perry, who was kind of moved down the ladder.
Right.
Leon Rose came in.
Yeah.
Scott Perry gave them a team perfect for Tibbs. He took the Detroit model, what they built. He built as an assistant GM with Joe Dumars, with Chauncey Billups and Rip and Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed and Ben Wallace. And he basically said, I want to have a team that's going to be tough and it's going to have depth. And that's what he gave Tibbs. And that's perfect for Tibbs because he is going to grind guys. He wants guys who are tough. He wants veteran guys. He wants smart guys. And so this is a good team for him. But Tibbs is going to maximize what you are every game. When he played, they were 3-2, and what they were playing the Lakers, I believe, and they rather than going home 3-3 on the road trip, Tibbs wanted to go home 4-2 in the worst way and say, we finished it off and we beat the Lakers. So we played Derrick Rose almost 22 minutes straight.
Yes.
5 minutes of overtime. It was insane. I'm like, do you know what you were around for Derrick Rose when he broke down? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
But that's Tibbs. He can't help himself. Like every game, he's an NFL coach. Every game, it means everything. And so he can change your culture. He builds your foundation. But when you want to go to the next level, you have to get somebody who knows how to coach talent, and he knows how to push and pull, know when to go hard, know when to pull back. Tibbs doesn't know how to do that. And so, yes, you're 100% right. I've been saying this with the Knicks fans. Easy. When they got, they became the fourth seed, it was like, oh, hey, we could win a series. Hey, we might be contenders. Like Julius Randle's MVP. I'm like, no. You're a great regular season team. Enjoy that you're in the playoffs. Enjoy that you get to see RJ Barrett and some of the young players and see what they're made of again in the postseason. But there's a lot of work to be done here. Now, your thing about, because I knew where you were you didn't actually say it, but I think what you were leading to was the Knicks have to find a way to get Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson needs to be in New York for the good of the league and himself. And in one respect, this is what I agree with you 100%. The dynamic game and the personality, I just, and he's well spoken. I mean, he's got this
everything.
I really like the
magnitude.
Like yes, there's this personableness about him, matched with the amazing athleticism that he has and control. We talk about unicorns. Like Porzingis is a unicorn in that you can't find him. Zion is a true unicorn in that we have not seen anything. I think people make the comparison of Charles Barkley is probably the closest thing, but Zion's another step up in terms of just dynamic moves with the ball.
Oh yeah.
The problem is that if you're going to build a team around him, he's going to be your point forward. The ball has to be in his hands. He's going to be your playmaker, essentially. which means that he has to become a much better passer and reader of offenses. And then I'm just going to surround him with 3-point shooters. Now, I also need a 3-point shooter at the other big spot because he's a terrible defender. He has to get better as a defender. He's so dynamic and so good at one thing, which is getting to the rim. But he really, there's nothing else about his game that is extraordinary. He's not a good rebounder. He's not a good defender. I think he has a great handle and he's a good passer. But I would love to see him evolve and then build a team around him. But if it depends on when he gets to New York, because if he gets to New York before he evolves, New York's a tough market.
Well, I don't even think he has to. I think New York has to be very cautious about Julius Randle and overpaying him. And I wasn't really linked. I mean, I'd love to see Zion in New York.
Yeah,
but I would love to see it. But I don't. He's not. The only thing I would say is because of his shoe deal, he may be the first player who doesn't, and the first player in league history
who doesn't need to be in New York. Yeah.
Also, he also doesn't need to sign his second contract with the Pelicans.
Yes.
He doesn't need to. That was built so that players wouldn't leave. The bottom line is he had a bigger shoe deal out of the gate than LeBron. So he doesn't need that money. He can make it if he remains healthy. He can make up that market, make up that money. But I think going forward, New York has to be very cautious here to not over exaggerate what Randall is and not overlook what Tibbs can be as well.
Except that's what New York does with every team and every star.
Yeah.
If in New York, they go crazy at the least bit of success, it means, a championship is just around the corner. There's no temperance in New York.
Right.
And the expectation is as soon as they get a little bit good, now we're going to be great. And that's not how they are built. The other thing is, we're talking about Zion and we're talking about the Pelicans, and I the dynamics of sports, the business of sports as well as anyone, and I understand it too. But there's a part of me that the fact that we talk about Zion and the Pelicans, and we don't talk about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies at all. And for me, if you're asking me which guy I would build around. And I said it when I said, nobody's going to take Ja Morant number one, but they should, because you're not worried about the injury history. He plays the most important position.
Guards age better.
Yeah. I mean, all of it. And now seeing that he's for real. I mean, led a team to the 8th seed last year, and then the bubble kind of took them under. Got them in and got them past the Warriors. I like they've built the right kind of players around him, guys who don't need the ball, guys who are physically tough. I mean, Dylan Brooks next to Ja Morant is as close to Klay Thompson next to Steph Curry as you're going to find right now in the league. So
interesting.
I love what they've built. The problem is they're in Memphis, so nobody cares. Nobody's going to get behind the Grizzlies, but I just think they've done such a better job than the Pelicans. They're a mess. Like
a little bit of a mishmash.
Why am I playing Steven Adams next to Zion Williamson? I now means I have two players who can't shoot the three in a three dominant league. And it like that team. And then I draft Jackson Hayes, who is a rim runner. It just doesn't make any sense. And so, but we in general, because Zion is there, because he is so electric, we spend a lot of time looking at the Pelicans when I feel like, Grizzlies are in much better shape. They have a star that I would trust on evolving more than the Pelican star, and they deserve more of our attention. If only they weren't in Memphis.